Alright, so welcome back to the last section. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, in this section what we'll be doing is we'll be creating a simple form using HTML, and then we'll try to read the contents of the form and display them back to the user using PHP. Right, so we'll basically make a form, take the input and display whatever the user has entered to the user again. Right, so in the first video we'll take a look at how to create a form using HTML. Now for creating a form we basically don't need anything, so let's remove everything and let's focus only on the form. So we use the form attribute, which is form obviously, and then we have a closing form tag. We need to add a few attributes, but we'll take a look at them later. Now we are only concerned with the layout of the form, right? So the very first thing we need is, let's ask for a username, say username, and let's take it to the next line, and here we'll add an input field, which is basically the text dialog box that appears. So we'll say type is equal to text. There are basically three types of input. One is a button, one is a text, and other one is a radio button and checkbox, etc. There are few, but these are the three mostly used: the button, the text, and the radio buttons, right? So type is equal to text. If you want to set a default text in the thing, we use the value attribute. So we'll say value is equal to your name here, maybe, and that's it. We close it. So let's refresh this and see what we get. So there we go, we get a username, your name here. So we have to remove this, add whatever name I have, right? Now let's add another thing, let's say nickname, and we'll do the exact same thing again. Let's add a few line breaks here as well, so that it looks a little better. Again, this is also going to be a text field, so we'll say type is equal to text, and let's not put any value right now. Also we can give it a name attribute, so we'll say username. This attribute will be referred to when we'll be saving this or displaying this using PHP. So we'll say nickname for this one, right? So let's refresh this again and see what we get. So we get username, nickname, and we need a line break somewhere here. Should look a bit neat. Okay, there we go, username, nickname. And now let's quickly add a submit button. So we'll add another line break and another input, and type is equal to submit, which basically stands for the submit button. We'll say value, which will be the text of the button, should be submit, and name is equal to also submit will do, right? So there we go, refresh it, and we have a submit button. Now when we click on it, obviously nothing will happen, so we'll add this action using PHP in a while. Now another thing is the radio boxes, so let's add a few of those as well. So we'll say input or select your gender, maybe, another line, and we'll say input type is equal to radio, name is equal to say male, and value is equal to also male. So what I basically did is I made a radio button with the value of male, right? Let's create another radio button. So we'll say type is equal to radio with the name of female this time, and value also to be female, right? There we go, and let's see what we get. Select your gender. Okay, it's not displaying the text. So for the text, what we need to do is we need to mention it somewhere here, right? So we'll say male here, and we'll say female here, and let's add a line break in between. Let's refresh it again. So there we go, we get male, female, and let's add another line break after female, so that everything looks neat and tidy. Right, so this is our basic form. Now, as you can see, this is all personal information, right? So what we can do is we can combine this into a single, a box, a container sort of a thing, and that is something which is called a field set, right? So what we do is we go to the very beginning and we create a new tag called the field set tag, and we end the field set tag after everything we have here before the submit button, because the submit button is common for all the different things. And to name the field set we use the legend tag, so we'll say personal information and close the legend tag right here. So let's refresh this, see what we get. So as you can see, we have this box which sums up the personal information. So if you have various sections in the form, this really helps to make everything neat and tidy so that the user does not get confused regarding the various info. So we have username, nickname, gender, and when we click on submit, something should happen. This is our basic design of a form. Right, so that is how you make a form in HTML5, a basic, very basic form. Now you can style everything in this, including the type of, this. And yes, if you want anything by default, check by default. So just go here and add check to wherever you want to. Right, so we have added check here. So let's refresh this, and now the mail thing will be checked automatically. Right, every time you open a form it will automatically be on the male tags. You can switch it to female obviously, but yeah, that's how it works, right? When you refresh it, it comes to male only. So that is how you design a simple basic form in HTML. And go ahead and make your own form. In the next one we'll be talking about how the PHP actually takes the input and processes it for further outputs, right? So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.